He wasn't ready for Anthony Joshua because Anthony Joshua was a different thing.
Yeah.
Like it's just he's got more one-shot knockout power. He took it more seriously too.
I know he likes to switch him, but again, like, this is where the boxing is. If you don't have that kind of intellect in the boxing, that footwork and foot positioning is, put your foot on one side, you're going to get killed. You put your foot on the other side, you're safe. You can kind of manage the power and see the punches coming. But he kept switching stances by just leaving himself in just the wrong positions.
Yeah, he wasn't ready.
Wasn't ready. There was a lot of hype off the Fury fight.
Also, Joshua got to watch him box in the Fury fight, see some patterns. Fury, I think, probably took him lightly.
Yes, I think so.
He's one of the greatest of all time. This guy's never had a boxing match. At the beginning of the fight, he's like, time to go to school.
Joe Rogan has finally responded to Anthony Joshua's surprising new training footage released ahead of the Jake Paul fight. It's got the entire combat sports world talking. Whatever fans expected this matchup to look like, Joshua's preparation has completely changed the narrative.
Talking right now about doing Anthony Joshua, Jake Paul. What? Jake Paul apparently wants that fight. And he agreed to, I think it was 99% to 1, where Joshua gets 99.
Well, my thoughts on it is that Jake Paul's had a lot of accusations over the years for a guy who's had no amateur fights. What's he had, about 10 or 12? Fights, I'm not sure what he's had. And, you know, you look at the opposition he's had and people saying, when's he going to fight somebody? He stepped up. He's stepping up to a 2-time world champion, a genuine heavyweight, a proper heavyweight champion, and an active fighter. And this is a big moment for him. And you got to take your hat off to him for that. As regarding AJ, I'm sure AJ's wants a fight back after that, that unbelievable loss he had against Daniel Dubois. That's quite an emphatic loss. He wants to come back, get himself, dip his toe in the water. He's going to get paid a lot of money for this. This fight's going to generate a lot of money because for me, it's a fighter. Jake Paul's going to be a massive underdog against a big favourite, a big odds-on favourite. Can he do it or not? This is a car crash. And people will watch it because that's what people do at car crashes. And that's what this is.
If you don't win this fight in 30 seconds, there's going to be two things thrown at him. One, you're no good. A lot of people are going to say, you can't afford Jake Paul in around. You're terrible. You're never any good. So they'll forget he was 2-time heavyweight champion in the world. He was the fellow that struggled with Jake Paul. And God forbid he gets beat. Imagine if he got beat or he gets dropped or the rest of his career count pretty much for nothing in most people's eyes. And the second thing is, if he does take him rounds, if he does hold him up, if he does play the game and get a few rounds in and it's a bit of an exhibition style thing, he'll never be taken serious by most paying public ever again. So I just think it's a no-win situation for Anthony Joshua, apart from the 50 million quid, of course, which is not too bad.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie with this. Who you got in this fight? Y'all go Jake. Oh God. Who the fuck is he fighting? Jay's good. I'm not betting on this fight. Why not? Joshua's good.
Isn't a payday fight for Anthony Joshua. He's training as if Jake Paul is a real threat. Joe Rogan pointed out that Joshua looks sharper, faster, and more focused than he has in years. And the training footage shows him cutting angles, throwing heavy combinations, and tightening his defense like he did in his prime. Rogan says Joshua is preparing for chaos and unpredictability because Jake Paul's awkward style, strange timing, and unpredictable footwork are completely different from a traditional heavyweight.
He beat him convincingly. Yes. And that's all he can do. And I think that he should take the praise from that and build from it. But he shouldn't want the criticism to stop because I think it fuels him.
I'm one with you. And I said that to Joshua in one of the interviews that I'd done with him. I said to him, listen, I knew he was very angry with TalkSport and the criticism he was getting from TalkSport, etc. And I had that conversation and said, listen, Josh, you should be feeding off that. That's what good fighters do. You feed off that. Go and prove them wrong. Like, that's where your fuel should be coming from. And, I think to a certain extent, he's sort of done that. I said, look, if people are talking about you, it's a good thing because that means that, you're doing something right.
What would you do differently if you could do the Anthony Joshua fight again?
That's the problem. We did everything right.
Everything right in preparation.
In preparation, we did everything right. You know, like when I fought CB, I went back, I could make a whole list of what I did wrong, what I could have done better. But here, we were very disciplined. We did everything and everybody was professional. You can't say this person did this wrong. This should have been like this. It should have been like that.
That he has a lot of talent and not to get discouraged. He only loses when he quits. When you quit, all the doors of opportunities close. You know what I mean? You have to be game. And then don't get discouraged if you lose. Listen, you just lost. You may have got $30 million. You should give Usyk a kiss and say, can we do this again? Don't let this internalize you. Oh, I can't fight now. This white boy kicked my ass. People are laughing at me. No, he kicked my ass for $50 million or $30 million. I hope he kicks my ass again. But this time it might not work out that way. I'm gonna kick his ass. I just think the more time you lay off, the worse you get. You have to fight to be the best. You have to do it more.
When you face someone unorthodox and fearless, you can't coast through training. You have to sharpen yourself to the absolute maximum. No. And that's exactly what Anthony Joshua appears to be doing. The boxing community is still split. Some think he's in it for the payday, while others believe he wants to humble Jake Paul for disrespecting the sport. But the footage shows something deeper. Joshua is training like he knows this is a global event, aware that one mistake could turn him into a meme, and he refuses to let a YouTuber catch him off guard. Joe Rogan also broke down the strategy. If Jake Paul comes in with real cardio and power, Joshua must be ready for the early wild exchanges, keep his jab active, close the distance with authority, and force Jake Paul to fight moving backward.
And number-wise, the biggest fight in boxing history. Ever. The biggest viewed fight in boxing history ever. And there's been some great fights over time. That is insane, isn't it? And the highest paid fighters as well. What Jake Paul, they're an estimated £170 million split between these two. But Jake Paul, is he really that deluded that he thinks that he's going to go in there and beat Anthony Joshua?
Do you think he thinks he can do it, Simon? I don't know what he's not short in confidence.
I don't know what he thinks, but what he does do is he markets himself in the space that he operates in. I don't get this Jake Paul or Logan Paul phenomenon, but I'm not the audience. It doesn't matter what I get. The opportunity for Netflix is that it's a drive to subscribe. They'll pay $100 million, and the wraparound fees that come from sponsorship and the event attendance. We saw that $20 million was generated in gate receipts for the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight. So we know this is $160 million fight. We know that it makes sense to Netflix to do it because in the last fight that they had with Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, they developed 2 million new subscribers. The average lifetime value of a subscriber is $900. So if you look at that and say they're going to generate $2 billion in potential increased revenues as a result of paying these fighters £100 million, you can see the metrics of it. They're also retaining their base. They're also moving content into a different space, which is sport. So it all makes sense. It's like the mobile phone industry that I knew very well used to sell phones for nothing so people could get the airtime, and the airtime was where the money is. The content delivery is where the subscribers go to, and then they pay their subscription. So we all understand the model. As far as the fight is concerned, oh no, don't be silly. I mean, Anthony Joshua can go in his nightgown and beat Jake Paul. The issue is, does he hurt Jake Paul? How curated it is? I debated it with boxers, with Paul Smith and Duke McKenzie and Spencer about would Joshua go in there with a mindset, which is he knows he doesn't have to get out of second gear, so he doesn't have to do to Jake Paul what people fear he might do, which is knock him into the next life.
Ponies this motherfucker has, from a Disney kid to YouTube to he can fight anyone and get views and make fucking money. This crazy wild boy sends out the bat signal, the British bat signal for Anthony motherfucking Joshua. You know how crazy that is? I will say this. I don't think any of Jake Paul's fights are fixed in any capacity. At all. Not even close. I don't get down that narrative. Again, I know online that's a fun narrative, all that shit. I will say this though. My spidey senses will go off if Anthony Joshua doesn't absolutely mop the floor with him. Now, kudos to Jake for taking this fight. My God, dude, you are a brave young man. You deserve every cent for that fight. My word, dude, there's so much respect So much respect. He worked so hard at the craft. That's amazing. Kudos to you. Here's the reality. Anthony Joshua is a gold medalist in the Olympics. He's a multiple-time world champion. He's fought the best of the best. He's not really over the hill either. If Jake Paul was just another boxer with his resume and his experience, you know, he's about a mid-blue belt. If we're giving you belts like jiu-jitsu, he's probably a blue belt, fighting in main events and all this stuff. If this fight isn't an absolute domination by Anthony Joshua, my spidey senses will go off. Now, that's not to say that I'm not saying Jake Paul has any language in the contract. There's no foul play whatsoever on Jake Paul's part. My skeptical hippo eyes or my spidey senses will come off that Anthony Joshua's not taking this real, and he's not putting his best performance for.
Joshua's biggest weakness has always been fighting on the inside, which is why he now has to rely on his size, his experience, and his heavyweight IQ. Joe Rogan said that if Joshua sticks to his fundamentals and avoids playing Jake Paul's game, this could turn into one of the most controlled beatdowns of the year. But there's another scenario. If Jake Paul comes in competitive and makes the fight messy, Joshua must be prepared for a dogfight, clinches, inside work, and awkward looping shots. That's why the new footage shows him drilling short hooks, heavy body shots, and tight combinations built for close-range chaos. Because he knows Jake Paul will try to make this ugly and unpredictable. The footage makes one thing clear: Joshua is not underestimating him. He's preparing like this is war.